Go. Hello everyone, this is Meshif, aka Talk to Meshif, and along with me I have...
I'm Axion, and we're going to be doing another 2v2, this time on Twilight Fortress, one of our favorite maps, which Meshif will explain why in a few minutes. And we're going to be playing the Blue Zerg Kale, the top left, and slightly over there to the right is the Red Terran Eikendorf.
Yeah, and as Max said, it's one of our favorite maps. As 2v2 players, we really enjoy having the creativity and the flexibility that 2v2 offers, whereas compared to 1v1, I'm not much of a 1 versus 1 player. Axion does dabble in 1v1 and is a pretty decent player, pretty middle of the tiers, I believe.
I'm in gold right now, working my way up.
Yep, definitely up there in gold, and there's obviously a lot of room to improve, which is pretty much what this channel is all about, is improving and learning from our mistakes, focusing on what we can do better. And why we really like this map is we have a shared base, so we only have one to choke to defend together, which is Terran, naturally favors us to due to our ability to turtle up, get siege tanks out there. That really helps, and then we also have our natural expansion in our main base area. And that just really helps us, macro up, get the minerals we needed, and generally against the skill opponents that we're playing right now, that favors us the ability to really macro up and try to just build up a bigger army quicker than they can.
It looks like everyone's playing standard so far. All three Terran going 12 racks, while Kale over there went 14 pool, and it looks like me and you are both going 13 gas. So pretty standard openings all around.
Yeah, and if you see here, Axion has sent his SCV over to Scout. That's usually the deal that we make, is that I will spend the 100 minerals to throw down a bunker at the front right here in between these two barracks. I think that's about to go down. Yeah, there you go. That goes down, and Axion will spend the time and the micro to really send an SCV out, scout the opponents, see what builds they're going, see what they're doing. Really give us the information we need to decide how we're going to proceed. A kind of interesting play here by Eikendorf. He pulls 2 SCVs off the line to follow him, which is pretty bad play. I mean, one's fine. You're not going to kill him unless, he gets trapped in a corner. As I say that, he gets killed, of course.
That was a little mismanagement on my part. And I'd just like to take a quick note to look at what Kale's doing. He's thrown down 2 incredibly fast extractors, so I think we could be seeing an early lair play after this team pops out.
And I'm not sure we saw the 2 extractors. Oh, we did see both of the extractors going down. So good job on the scouting. We got the information, so we definitely can assume some kind of gas-intensive build.
It looks like I also have my second extractor up. We'll see which build I go in a second and see if this pays off for me.
Yeah, we've got the 2 refineries here. I think I'm just getting my second refinery, as Eikendorf is just a little bit ahead of me. So, interesting to note that Eikendorf already does have 1 refinery up, but he's only got 1 SCV mining from it, which is kind of strange. If you're going to spend the minerals to get the second gas up, I mean, and he instantly pulls 2 off his line to into the refinery, but for some reason, probably just a mismanagement on his part, not really paying attention.
A little slip of his mind, probably.
Yeah, and while it's not a big deal, we're at the levels we're playing at, the pretty low levels, silver, it's not a huge deal, but as we're all trying to do, we're trying to improve and get better and learn how to play more effectively. And things like that. It's just always got to be paying attention to your gases, your minerals, and making sure your SCVs are doing their job as effectively as they can.
And it looks like right now I am throwing down a starport as well as a tech lab on the factory. And if we also note the Zerg player Kale's base, he is indeed... The lair is about to finish, so it was a correct guess on our parts. Although I don't think we've scanned yet, so we're not fully aware that the lair is up, as well as a second hatchery. Yep, and now we do see the Hydralisk Den going down, and as you mentioned, the second hatchery is just about to complete. So, he's preparing for a little bit of macro game. We're gonna really try to crank out a big army. He's got that lair down. He's using the queen. He's really trying to prepare himself really to have full production capabilities when he's got his tech up, whereas from our perspective, I've got the 3 racks going on here. Yeah, 2 tech labs, 1 reactor to crank out 2 marines and 2 marauders at a time. Over here we have the Destiny Cloud Fist, also known as the 1-1-1 build, where you go barracks, factory, and then starport. And we see Axion over here pumping out some Hellions. Yep, and getting the Infernal Pre-Igniter. definitely at the higher levels, I've seen plenty of drops and plenty of Hellion harassment without the pre-igniter just because their micro is so good. But I'd really say at these lower levels, I'm really an advocate of getting it, because if you get that, you can two-shot probes with your Hellions, which can really do a ton of damage, and you don't need the fantastic micro at these levels to do it.
Yeah, and especially as you know that the micro is not huge. You see a scan going down on my base. Does not really reveal anything. I think I've hit I haven't really hit. I just put it at the front of my base, and all he really sees is my mineral and my gas harvesting. So no information being given away there. But as Axion was saying, with the blue flame, when the Hellions drop, if they're not paying attention, or if they're not quick to select other probes and get them out of there, you can toast a lot of drones or probes or SUVs, whatever race they are, and that could really do a lot of damage. Not only are they losing minerals that they spent earlier on those units, but they're losing the capability to continue to gather resources and create more units. So that's really huge. I mean, I would say in many ways, killing an entire drone line on a hatchery is more important than going pretty much even man for man in a small engagement where you both lose all your forces.
And it looks like I'm also planning a transition into Banshees, but I'd also like to note just how high my gas is right now. I have 400 gas, which means I'm trying to do a little bit too much too fast. And I also like to call attention to the dropship currently heading in, and we're going to take a pause in a few seconds here at 9:22 and just kind of go over a few elements of this drop.
So here we are at 9:22, and we have paused so we can really go into depth about what exactly is happening here. I'd just like to first point out that I was also pushing out with my 3-Rex build to the front of their base, which I just scanned. I saw that it just had 2 barracks, so I assumed that maybe I was a little bit ahead maybe in units, but he had actually done a pretty good job. He must have produced a few right before I got there, and our armies are pretty much even. So what really was going to come down here is positioning, and I do have Marauder slow, the concussive shells there, and let's see if he has that. He does not have concussive shells, so that's my tech advantage in that sense. But he did go for stim pack, and
yeah, I would have liked to see you get stim before trying this push.
Yeah, I mean that definitely would have evened the battle. And had I been able to break this front door, even if I only had 1 Marauder left, that could have been pretty big because I could have sniped off the tech lab reactor or a supply depot. Could have supply blocked him for a little bit. But essentially, it was not the best time for me to push. I felt like after scanning, he only had 2 barracks. That I had the advantage, and we see the sensor tower circle on the map, which is kind of surprising. And so I knew that he was not really playing too standard, was putting down opting for resources on a sensor tower this early in the game is kind of strange. So I decided to push and send my reinforcements rally point up to the rest of my army. But back to Axion's dropship.
Alright, I'd like to note here that if we can switch to my vision for a second, so we can see what's going on. Right here, pause at 9:22. You can see that I see a spine crawler here. And normally, I mean, from my experience, spine crawlers do incredibly well against Hellions. Hellions do not damage them at all. 300 health with 2 armor already, and the Hellions are doing 10 damage a shot. It's going to go down to 2. As a spine crawler is doing 30 to them. And I'd like to unpause it quickly and then stop again at 9:26.
Alright, and as you can see, you back it out pretty quickly, and now we're back to 9:26.
Now, I did back out, and actually I'd like to look at your troops for a second. I do like the sniping of this Overlord here.
So yeah, I sniped the Overlord. I see he's hanging out here, kind of guarding the front base. But it was kind of silly of me I had my units grouped into one group, and so I right mouse click on the Overlord, so obviously my Marines get in range and start firing. My Marauders go right underneath it, which kind of puts me in a bad position for when I do engage this army, which is pretty close. I can just barely see them at the top of the ramp now, so that means they can see me with the height advantage. Really, I should have just focused fire down the Overlord with my Marines and realized that at this wall or the ramp, excuse me, there was going to be a small bio ball, and I should have come in here with better placement, kind of getting that line right across here, just like his units are lined up there. I want an even concave because that could have made the difference in the battle that is to come.
Alright, and in a second we're going to play it. Before we do, I'd just like to note, again, that right now I backed my dropship away after seeing the initial spine crawler, but at this point I see two of them. And we're just gonna in a second watch this out, and we're just gonna see what happens after seeing these two spine crawlers. I'm gonna get this going right about now.
And there you go, you do drop them all four down.
Yep, and let's just watch what happens to these four Hellions.
Pretty much getting poked by those spine crawlers, and you try to get out of there, but then the queen's over here to pick off the last one, and you know, really wasn't able to do much with them.
Yep. There was no reason after seeing those two spine crawlers I had to drop. There was just no way that drop was going to be successful, and I should have, like I did after I saw the initial spine crawler, was just back up, go back, and then try again later.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like you said, you know, the information was there for you, you just didn't utilize it. You see this spine crawlers, you know, here they got 2 kills and 1 kill, so there you go, those two units alone, you know, took a little bit of damage.